I was supposed to come here for 10 days to record, and I never left, and I love it. I love working here. The lack of noise was just incredible. I could sort of hear my own thoughts.
There is like a sense of slowness around us. There's somehow less pace in the community, so you end up getting a little bit more peace to work here than in my experience in other countries.
Very small place with a huge pool of ridiculously talented people. There's a value placed on music here that is unlike other places. It's very easy to kind of pull people in. There's always one weirdo that kind of does that one thing, and he's usually just around the corner.
I think it's great to record here because everything is so close. In this studio, we have a guitar repair guy just downstairs, and we have a synth repair guy just down the hall here.
Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland, and it's got everything that any capital has, which is a lot of culture, great food. The restaurants are amazing here, and at the same time drive for 10 minutes and be in beautiful nature and just nothing around you. That's, I think, pretty unique as well.
I would say if anyone is coming here, they would have no trouble with finding musicians or inspiration in other people or artists if they're just open to it,
Having found a strong connection with myself, with nature and the sort of beautiful support in the people here, you can be in the moment. And I think for me, that's very important when I'm being creative and when I'm working and just in life in general.
Icelandic pop music to Japanese black metal and everything in between. And there's really no delineation between them. It's just we make music.
Godmorgen Danmark.
Goddag Sverige.
Moi Suomi.
Heja Norge.
Góðan daginn Føroyar.
Hello and welcome to our Record in Iceland webinar for the Nordics. We're here in Hljóðriti studio in Hafnarfjörður, which is the oldest still in operation studio in Iceland.
My name is Bryndís. I'm the project manager of Record in Iceland.
My name is Sigtryggur and I'm the managing director of Iceland Music. And we'll be your hosts for this short trip. Recently, we've been receiving lots of questions regarding the program and wanted to reach out and explain a few things. We'll keep our chat line open during this presentation so you can ask questions as they pop up. And don't be shy, you can use a pseudonym, pick whatever you want. Call yourself Donald, Trump or Duck or whatever.
And we're going to give out a couple of tickets to Iceland with Iceland Air. More on that later in the program. Mm-hmm. But remember that this is a short webinar, so stay tuned.
Yeah. But let's dig in. What is this Record in Iceland? Well, it's a program that offers those who record music in Iceland a 25% refund on costs. This includes studio costs, wages for musicians, producers, post-production, even travel costs.
We can assist you with any inquiries you might have regarding the refunds, recording and booking studios and so on. Mm-hmm. There's also a lot of information on our website, recordiniceland.is.
As the live music scene is opening up and travels are starting to kick in, we're also aware that people want to travel better, travel well, and make the most of the trips. So it makes perfect sense if you're crossing the Atlantic to tour or PR, to make a stop in Iceland, make some recordings in one of these stunning studios, get 25% off your travel costs refunded as part of the program.
But don't just take it from us. We have actually brought along a couple of friends who happen to be in the neighborhood. And the funny thing is that they have actually both recorded in Iceland. Imagine that! Seen through a hole.
Now Bryndís is going to do a little interview with Anna Greta Sigurðardóttir in the next room. So give us a couple of seconds.
So, Anna Greta, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you are a pianist and a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And you are just about to release your first album?
Yeah, it's my first album as a solo artist.
And you recorded the album in a legendary studio, Sundlaugin in Mosfellsbær. How did you choose that? What was the reason behind choosing that?
Yeah, it was mainly I wanted to work with all these wonderful musicians here in Iceland and this recording engineer and my co-producer Albert Finnbogason. So that's really why we were in Iceland, and for me it was very obvious that we would record in this studio called Sundlaugin, because it's just a lovely environment to be in. It's right by Mosfellsbær, so it's close to the Álafoss and some nature there, and yeah, I think it's just a cozy studio, and the grand piano there I really like.
Okay, brilliant. But okay, so you decided to record this here in Iceland in Sundlaugin with Albert, and what was the process like? Did you know beforehand who you wanted to work with, or did that kind of just happen naturally, or besides Albert?
Yeah, I went in many circles with this actually. First I thought that this was going to be like a solo album, that I would just play the piano and sing and maybe work with some overdubs in the post, in the post-production thing, but but then I was as I got closer to the recording, I found myself sort of longing to record this in sort of a more jazzy kind of way, where you record everything live really. So we were all in the same room. Then I just I talked to all these wonderful musicians, Einar Skeving, Skúli Sverrisson, Magnús Tryggvason Eliasen, and Hilmar Jensson, and my dad, Sigurður Flósason, is also featured, and Johan Tengholm, and then Ragnar Gröndal. So it was really, I wanted to also bring this more of a pop element, where you're sort of producing each song, So I had different drummers and different bassists, and so yeah, I had some pretty specific ideas about how each song would sound, and how, so it was sort of a mix of this jazzy approach to recording and this more pop producing sort of,
Okay, amazing. And when is the album going to be out?
Yeah, so it's released October 29th on a German label called Act Music, and the album is called Nights Are in the Northern Sky, and that is partly inspired by bird watching. So I've been recently introduced to bird watching, and I think it's just it's a really, it's such a lovely thing to do. You just go out in nature and you hope to experience something special and maybe see something unique. And the nightjar is a bird that's it's hard to see in Sweden. It's a rare sight, and in Iceland it's been seen less than 5 times. So it's sort of a metaphor for searching for something unique,
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. I saw it in Gotland. Yeah.
Oh, okay, amazing.
Outside of Sweden. Yeah. So,
okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. But thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm looking forward to coming to Stockholm soon, and hopefully seeing a nightjar.
Yes. You might not see it in Stockholm, but if you travel to Gotland and get lucky, then maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. That's on my plan for next summer.
Yes.
Definitely.
That sounds like a good plan.
Thank you so much, Anna Greta. Good luck with the album. I look forward to hearing it.
Thank you.
Let's have a few words from artist, producer, composer, multi-talent, Helgi Jónsson.
I remember for the longest time I was pretty much rejecting the idea that Iceland was a special place to make music and to create. All these questions about, why is there so much special music coming from Iceland? I always thought that doesn't make any sense. That's nonsense. Now I actually do believe that that the nature out here and the cold air and all the space we have, it does help. One of the things that makes it really good to work here is the fact that we have a lot of good musicians and also a lot of good classical musicians that is simply amazing to be able to call in even like short notice into the studio. Like I don't know any place else where you can call, you can have a wind quintet pretty much on call. That people are very much willing to hop into anything on short notice, whereas somewhere abroad that might often take longer to organize, and it's kind of like it's a bit heavier to organize stuff like that. Icelanders are used to working on short notice and kind of like helping out, and that makes for a great spirit to create albums.
Matti, thanks for coming. You have been producing Finnish artists here in Iceland.
I have indeed, yeah.
Right. Are there any benefits that you could name about doing that, about recording here in Iceland?
Well, I mean, there are a few obvious benefits when you look at it. One thing is just the vibe and the surrounding nature. For instance, I think it was about 5 years ago, around 2016, when maybe one of the best-known artists in Finland, legendary Vesa-Matti Loiri, came here, and he was making a new album, and they contacted me to find a suitable location to record the vocals. Okay. And so we find this just house by a fjord, less than an hour's drive from Reykjavik, and we rent that house for 1.5 weeks in May, and then we just made I brought all my gear there. We made a sort of temporary studio of it, and the people, Loiri and his entourage, they stayed in the house, and I would be driving from Reykjavik every morning to record the vocals, and that was, for him, having spoken to him quite a lot during those sessions, he was deeply touched on a spiritual level. Just, when you're singing, and these songs were very kind of philosophical, there was some text from the Bible and Quran and big philosophers. He'd be singing these in this 100-year-old house by the fjord, and he would be looking straight out to the ocean and seeing also the Snæfellsnes glacier. And he realized that as a kid he had read, obviously, Jules Verne's book, the Journey to the Center of the Earth, which sort of that glacier is heavily featured. Yes. And for Mr. Loiri, it was just his mind was blown when he realized that now something that started as a child, and so now he has come to that place. He can actually see that while he's singing about these philosophical, deep texts. Yeah. That's just one experience, and you can just see I know personally what type of impact the nature of this country has on me, and how much it helps my creativity. So there's nothing greater than getting some people, some colleagues or artists, whatever, from Finland, and letting them experience the same thing. It's quite remarkable. Yeah.
Yes. So the bonus is that you can get 25% sort of rebate on the recording costs.
That's a nice little bonus on top of that as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing as well.
Yeah. But the great thing is, of course, the inspirational aspect, that you can actually be inspired by the place.
Personally, for me, that's huge. There's just something. For many years, I had my studio just by the seafront in the area of Granti in Reykjavik, with a great view out to the sea and to the mountains. And that, for me, it was again kind of a spiritual. Like every day, I go to work. I know I have some stuff I have to get done, But while I do it, I'm actually having sort of a spiritual experience of almost like sometimes blending into the landscape. So, and like right now I have finally my current studio is sort of is downtown Reykjavik in the attic of my home, and there's the ongoing volcanic eruption going on right now of Geldingadalur, and in the evenings I can see that plume from my studio and from the studio balcony. And that to me again is one of these things like, okay, it's just
you couldn't make this shit up.
You can't make this stuff up, and but it kind of weirdly resets all the stress you might be having or whatever, the deadlines and everything. It reminds you of like, okay, what is this life like really about? You know, is it about, you know, what is it about? It's a great power that I get from this country.
It's a reset button almost.
It is weirdly, and yeah, I've really noticed that it just by being able to experience the nature of this country, it actually helps me deal with the stress of being in music as a freelancer year after year after year, and just, you know, stay active, stay busy, and try to do the best I can.
Thank you, man. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Now we're going to cut over to the other room and see some records that have been recorded in Iceland.
Welcome to the Record in Iceland album corner. We gathered a couple of albums that we found lying around this morning.
Yes, this is by no means sort of a final list of records that have been made in Iceland. It's just a few.
Yeah.
Well, what do we have?
So here we have Ásgeir with Sátt, or Bury the Moon. It was actually released both in Icelandic and in English.
Yeah.
And it's recorded here in Hljóðriti.
Yeah.
In Hafnarfirði.
Like all his records, actually. Funny enough.
Yeah, it's true. Here we have a classic. We have Sigurós with Valtari.
Yeah. Which was recorded in Sigurós' studio called Sundlaugin, the swimming pool, in
Mosfellsbær. Yeah, it's actually the same recording studio that Anna Greta told us about, where she had recorded her new album.
Yep.
Here we have actually the Björk series.
The Björk series. Selma songs, Vespertine, Medulla. They're all recorded in Gróðurhúsið, I think, the greenhouse.
Yeah.
By Valgeir. Sigurðsson.
I love that cover.
Yes.
We have Of Monsters and Men. One of the pinkest albums, I think, that has been released.
How much more pink can you get?
Not much.
No. I think this is recorded in their own private studio in Garðabær.
Okay.
Secret place.
Wonderful. Here we have Bonnie Prince Billy.
Bonnie Prince Billy.
With... I don't
He's
actually think that is.
No.
But yeah, this one is actually recorded in Iceland as well, in Gróðurhúsið.
Yes,
Valgeir was the producer on this one.
Yes. I actually lent some drums for this session.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Sigtryggur, he has actually recorded a lot and played drums for
My drums are on this record. Not played by me, though. Sadly not.
Here we have an interesting
Yes, this
record.
is very special. This actually refers to the program. You can get 25% cash back of recording in Iceland, but this record, sadly, was not recorded in Iceland.
Brilliant. We actually have a playlist on Spotify if you'd like to hear a little bit more of what has been recorded here. It's called Record in Iceland.
Yes. But now let's go and check out some of these studios. Before we start, all these places are technically sharp. They have good outboard gear, from consoles to mics, some more analog possibilities than others. They all have unique character. They're very special powers, and will help you with residential facilities, some in-house, some out-of-house. What I'm saying is that they will take care of you. Even if you need some instruments or session people, they'll sort that out. Remember, this is a tight-knit community with excellent survival skills, so to speak, not to mention the creative aspects. Now let's take a look at the studios. The Greenhouse, a home of bedroom community and the workplace of composer, producer, and label boss Valgeir Sigurðsson. The Greenhouse is an elegant space with both technical and creative power, clean-cut, bright and spacious. It takes pride in having a very wide range of clientele, ranging from Brian Eno to Kanye West to Björk, having recorded there. Hljóðriti, Iceland's oldest recording studio, built in 1974 and designed by John Sturrock of Electric Ladyland fame. This place has lava rock on the walls for a unique atmosphere, unique sound. Gives a whole new meaning to rock and roll. Complete with producer Kitty's guitar collection to die for, this place is also the home for Icelandic artist Ásgeir, to those that are familiar with that. Sinfonia Nord, owned and operated by Atli Örvarsson and Todd Thorvaldsson in the capital of the north, Akureyri. These guys have mastered the art of the soundtrack and have been very busy lately doing just that, recording soundtracks for Netflix and others in a stunning location of Music Hall Hof. Too bad many of the composers involved have had to watch from a distance, but that's exactly what's been happening lately, as composers have watched from Zoom as the scores are recorded. Master Key is owned by Academy Award-winning composer Markéta Irglova and her husband Mio. They have a very homey vibe, and their studio as a spa comes complete with a view of Mount Esja, a fireplace, a meditation room, and a great kitchen. They are very close to being the songwriter's paradise come true. Silo. If you are into analog, this place is like a dream come true. It's owned and operated by Vinnie Wood, the electronics wizard of the East. I say this because the studio is in a tiny village in the eastern fjords, and Vinnie is indeed an electronics wizard, as his studio is something akin to the analog heaven, where the art of tape recordings is reborn alongside its younger sibling, and the music comes alive in both new and old manners. Sundlaugin, or the swimming pool. Sigurós is the word that will always be synonymous with Sundlaugin, which is actually an old swimming pool converted into a studio by the members of Sigurós, with their producer and engineer friend Birgir Jón Birgisson. It resides in Mosfellsbær, which is 20 minutes from Reykjavik city centre. Recently, many artists have recorded there, and it remains a wonderful facility, now run by composer Kjartan Sveinsson, who used to be the keyboard player in Sigurós. Basically, if you love Sigurós, you're going to love this place. But even if you don't, it's a great studio in a pristine location. Sýrland. This is the largest studio in Reykjavik, and going through major renovations, which will be over in the beginning of 2021. Sýrland has been a staple of the music industry for over 30 years. They have a ton of experience and handle very diverse situations, from film work with voiceover to Foley, to orchestral recordings and band and ensemble work to singer-songwriters with an acoustic guitar. They can pretty much do anything. Reykjavik Recording Orchestra is a brand new studio in the fabulous concert hall Harpa. Overlooking the harbour, the view from the control room is nothing short of spectacular. But it's not just the view. The studio has state-of-the-art gear and is connected by fibre optic cable into 3 different halls in the Harpa. Of course, there's an orchestra on hand, directed by Viktor Orri Arnarsson, who has an impressive resume in recording and orchestration, and has worked with many of our best-known composers, Hildur Guðnadóttir and Jóhann Jóhannsson included. You see, the small-town feel of just picking up the phone and getting a hold of the person who plays the hurdy-gurdy or the guy who fixes guitars is something you can't do in huge places. The studios are all very professional, yet personal. It's a nice mix. If you need an instrument that is not available in Iceland, bring it along. The refund also applies to your travels. That was just a little taste of the recording facilities that Iceland has to offer. The refund program applies to all music recorded in Iceland and all recording facilities. You can see more information on recording facilities on our website, but also make sure to sign up for our newsletter and social media, where we'll be introducing a variety of studios, producers, musicians, and more.
Yeah. So this past year and a half has been a challenging one for the music industry in general. But now, as we have vaccinations and travel has more or less opened up again, we're confident that artists and composers will look forward to traveling more responsibly and thinking not only about the carbon footprint, but also about making the most of the trips.
We've come to the end of this little webinar of ours, but thank you so much for being with us today. If you want to access this program, you can contact us or just contact studios with producers directly, book a time and record. Just make sure to keep all the receipts and the costs carefully so that you can claim the refund after the music is released.
On that note, I think it's time for a little game, right?
Yes.
If you would like the chance to win 2 return tickets to Iceland with Icelandair, all you have to do is answer this question correctly, using the form in the chat below, and your name will be added to Sigtrygur's hat. That will then be used to draw out a winner. The form will be open for 30 minutes, after which we will draw out the winner, and you can watch the process on Record in Iceland's Instagram Live. The winner will also be announced in the first issue of the newsletter that will go out tomorrow. So, the question. What percentage of costs can you get refunded as part of the Record in Iceland program? I will ask this again. What percentage of costs can you get refunded as part of the Record in Iceland program? The form is open for the next 30 minutes, so